Now, the heaven made a very careful plan. Heaven made a very careful plan. Number one, the price for sin had to be paid. How the price had to be paid? To whom it has to be paid? How it has to be paid? To whom it has to be paid? These are the questions. Now tell me, Jesus paid the price of sin to whom? He paid the price of sin of us. The price which was on us, he paid. That we know. He died for us. But to whom he paid the price? No, not the Father. We were not told. He paid the price to the devil. Because he stole it on the cross. He stole the entire earth. He stole the human beings. When they were there in the Eden garden, the seed of God was in them. The seed of God. He replaced the seed of God with his seed through sin. I'll show you John 3. John 3 verse 9. In John 3 verses 9, I will go deeper because you are interested. I will show what has happened. Such a careful planning has been done in all this. First John 3 verses 9. Whoever has been born of God does not sin, for his seed remains in him. And he cannot sin because he has been born of God. So, somebody who is born of God, his seed is there, God's seed. And when they were in Eden garden, Adam and Eve, when they didn't sin, till that time, the seed of God was in them. When they committed sin, what the devil has done, he replaced the seed of God with seed of devil. Now, I'll tell you the deeper things. When they committed sin in chapter 3 of Genesis, what happened? The seed of God in Adam and Eve was replaced, compromised, and he put his seed. That means they belong to him. John 8:34, Jesus says, anyone who commits sin is a slave of sin. These are the rules, fundamental rules even today. John 8:34. And under this rule, he took over. He took over the human race and also John 8:34. Now, Jesus answered them, most assuredly, I say to you, whoever commits sin is a slave of sin. This was the rule right from the beginning. It's an eternal rule. It's the rule today also. Whoever commits sin is a slave of sin. So when Adam and Eve committed sin, they violated, they disobeyed. You all are aware of that. They ate the forbidden fruit. The moment they ate the forbidden fruit, the God seed in them was replaced by devil seed. They became slave to the devil. And in Genesis 1:28, God gave the whole world to them. This is your world. You are the masters in Genesis 1:28. He said, then God blessed them. God blessed them and said to them, be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over everything that moves on the earth. He gave them dominion. So, they were the masters. Adam and Eve, they were the master. They were given dominion over the earth. That means they were the masters of the earth. Only two. When Satan put his seed into them, made them their slave, what happened? He got a free offer. Along with them, he got the earth. He became ruler of the world. Ruler of the world. You know that term. He became the ruler of the world. This is the way. Through the back door, he became ruler of the world. He became ruler of men and he became ruler of the world. God lost everything. God lost everything. He is such a gentleman, he didn't fight. He is such a gentleman, he said, I will not kill you. Because he said, if you the day you eat up this fruit, you will die. In Genesis 2:17, he said very clearly, you eat up this, you are dead. And when they ate, he didn't kill them. 2:17. He said, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat. For in that day you eat of it, you shall surely die. Their spirit died. He didn't kill them. He didn't kill them. Because the word of God is very clear. In Luke 3, last words, Adam was his son. The word says Adam, son of God. It's not something. Now, Luke 3, I will show you. So, when we understand the whole scenario, whole scheme of the heaven, we would understand easily that today's worship system is not with God. Not with God. Now, this is about the genealogy of Jesus. The last words you can see, the son of Enosh, the son of Seth, the son of Adam, the son of God. Adam was created as son of God. He didn't want to kill. He didn't want to kill. Though he said, surely you shall die. Surely you shall die. He should have killed. He should have killed Adam and Eve. That means the whole thing, whole earth, the human race, everything would have gone out. But he chose not to kill. What he did, all right, I will go and die. In Genesis 3:15, he has given that. In code word, he has said, Genesis 3:15. In Genesis 3:15, he has given the mandate. And I will put enmity between you and the woman. The seed has gone in, I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. Now you understand what is seed. Between your seed and and her seed. He shall bruise your head. Actually, in Tamil it says crush your head. He shall crush your head and you shall bruise his heel. This happened on the cross. This was a prophecy about redemption. This was a prophecy about redemption. He didn't kill them and he came down, died for them. Now you understand? He came down, died for Adam, Eve and all of us. He died. And now, whom did he pay the price? That was the question. He paid the price to the Satan, devil. Devil, will he accept any price? He became ruler of the world. Because of the sin, he became the ruler of the world. He would not give back. So, heaven carefully planned everything. Heaven carefully planned. The one who created Adam and Eve and the one who created the heaven and earth, he came down. Something unimaginable. But when he came down, he told everything. I will come through a virgin. Genesis 7:14. And I'm he, the Almighty. Isaiah 7:14. Isaiah 9:6. I'm he, the Almighty. The child who is going to be born is Almighty. The one who created the heaven and earth. He said everything. And in Micah 5:2, he said, I will be born in Bethlehem. Bethlehem, because I'm going to be born as son of David. That in 2 Chronicles 17 verses 10, he promised to David that I will establish a permanent name for you. 1 Chronicles 17 verses 10. These are higher level. I wouldn't go into that, but you should understand the coming of Jesus to the earth has got multiple agendas. Multiple agendas. It is not a simple thing. It has got multiple agenda. He was going to be born as son of David because that King David, the only one who was loyal to him. When everybody was disloyal to him, he was the only one loyal to him till the end. So he promised, I will establish a permanent house for you. 1 Chronicles 17:10. Since the time that I commanded judges to be over my people Israel, also I will subdue all your enemies. Furthermore, this is the promise. Furthermore, I tell you that the Lord will build a house. The Lord will build a house. That is permanent house. That your name will be there forever. David, your name will be there forever. So, this was the promise given to David. And when he came down, he was coming as son of David. He said, your throne will be everlasting. But the time came, they all disobeyed, the throne was lost. Israel went into captivity. And he was coming down to restore the throne of David. So, he was to be called son of David. So, he was born in Bethlehem where David was born and he lived. That's Bethlehem. So, in Micah 5:2 he said, I will come, I will be born in Bethlehem. This is about Jesus' birth in Bethlehem. But you, Bethlehem, Ephrathah, though you are little among the thousands of Judah, yet out of you shall come forth to me the one to be ruler in Israel, whose going forth are from old, from everlasting. So clearly, the promise is that he would be born in Bethlehem. So there was a problem. There was a problem in Matthew chapter 2. Matthew chapter 2, the wise men who were asked to go and worship Jesus as the King of Kings, they committed a blunder. They committed a blunder. In verse 2, they are saying, where is he who has been born king of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east and have come to worship him. They committed the blunder. They went to King Herod, and asked him, where is the king? Where was he born? And they were asking the king, where is the king? And he got annoyed. And immediately in verse 5, so they said to him, he wanted to know where he was born. Immediately he said, where Jesus Christ? When Herod the king heard this, verse 3, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he inquired of them where the Christ was to be born. They said King of Jews. They didn't say Christ. He converted the King of Jews into Christ. Everybody knew. Messiah, King of Jews, Christ. Every word, everything has got the same meaning. So immediately he converted where Christ would be born. So they said to him, all the chief priests, in Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet in verse 6, but you Bethlehem in the land of Judah, are not the least among the rulers of Judah, for out of you shall come a ruler who will shepherd my people Israel. Then what he did, in and around Bethlehem, he killed all the children of 2 years and above, 2 years and below. In verse 16 we see this. Then Herod, when he saw that he was deceived by the wise men, was exceedingly angry, and he sent forth and put to death all the male children who were in Bethlehem and in all its districts from 2 years and under, according to the time which he had determined from the wise men. He understood that Jesus is 2 years old, just 2 years old. So he killed all the male children in Bethlehem. This was already foretold in Jeremiah 15:31, I think. It was also foretold that this will happen. So now you understand, this God, He is the one who created heaven and earth. He is the one who created heaven and earth, and He is the one who chose Abraham in Genesis 12 and Genesis 17. And in Genesis 17, He entered into covenant with him that I will be your God only. And this God came down with multiple agenda. One, to pay the price of sin and redeem the earth and its descendants, and earth and its occupants, all of us. To redeem the earth and all the occupants. This is number one agenda. Number two, to cancel the restrictive covenant with Abraham, that I will be God for you only. But He wanted to reconcile with you and me. In order to reconcile with you and me, He had to die. Took the flesh form, came down, died. 3. He wanted to crush the head of the devil. How did He crush? I will not go into detailed verses. How did He crush? It's a very clever plan. He was the ruler of the world. In John 14:30, God Himself, Jesus Himself said, the ruler of the world is coming to me. I got nothing to do with him. But He said in John 12:31, I think, I'll give that. John 12, He said He is going to be judged. The ruler of the earth, 12:31, correct. In John 12:31, Jesus said, now is the time the ruler of the world is going to be judged. In John 16:11, He says, the ruler of the world has been judged. He says that. Future also He has judged. But in between, in John 14:30, Jesus concedes, the ruler of the earth is coming to me and I got nothing to give to him. He was the ruler of the earth world. He would not give it back to Jesus, whatever be the cost. He would not give. So how to get back? How to take back? Jesus is a gentleman. Jesus is a gentleman. He will never tell a lie. He will never tell a lie. He always tells it upfront and He does it. He wants us to do that. He wants us. In Matthew 5:37, He says, say yes for yes and no for no. Don't say anything in between. Nothing. He doesn't like cunningness. Matthew 5:37. This is his commandment. But let your yes be yes and your no, no. For whatever is more or beyond this is from the evil one. So He, as a God, He cannot be cunning. Devil cunningly took the earth and its occupants in Eden garden by telling a lie. In Genesis 3, he did it. God cannot do it. So He gave sufficient opportunity to him. I am going to be born to a virgin, and I am going to be the King of Kings, and I will be born in Bethlehem, and my mission is to crush your head. and take back earth. So the devil knew. He made multiple attempts. Now, how did he take back? How did he take back? Adam and Eve committed like a small dot like sin. Because of the sin, the whole earth and all its occupants went to the devil. He became ruler of the earth. What God did it, God made him committing a huge sin, killing his own creator God, killing the creator of the universe. This is it. This was the price. And the devil was such a fool that he was not able to understand the plan of the heaven. He was not able to understand the plan of the heaven. Jesus said in Luke 4 verses 6, you have to worship me. He said, the devil said, if you worship me, I will give you the whole earth. Jesus said, the word says, you have to worship only the Lord God. And he is the Lord God. The devil himself declares, you are the Son of the Most High God. Everywhere the devil was declaring, you are the Son of the Most High God. You are the Son of God. What I have got to do with you, Son of God? In Luke 8:38, the demon was crying, what I have got to do with you, Son of God? So they knew Jesus was the Creator God. They created everything. He created everything. Luke 8, 20, 28, 29. So when he saw Jesus, the demon-possessed man, he cried out, fell down before him, and with a loud voice said, what have to do with you, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? I beg you, do not torment me. He knew everywhere. In Mark chapter 1, we are seeing everywhere Jesus went, the demons, they declared him the Son of God. So Jesus said, shut up. Don't open your mouth. He shut the mouth of the demons, not to reveal his identity. But they were all telling, Jesus, you are the Son of God. Jesus, you are the most holy one. So in Luke chapter 4, when the devil, Lucifer, tested Jesus, Jesus told him very clearly, fellow, you are supposed to worship me. What are you talking about? Is in verse, they will, we will come to him. Then the devil, number 5. Then the devil, taking him up on a high mountain, showed him all the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time. And the devil said to him, all this authority I will give you, and their glory, for this has been delivered to me, and I give it to whomever I wish. Therefore, if you will worship before me, all will be yours. And in verse 8, Jesus said, and Jesus answered and said to him, get behind me, Satan. For it is written, you shall worship the Lord your God, and him only you shall serve. He was telling indirectly, stupid fellow, I am the God who created you. You are supposed to worship me. What are you talking about? And he fled. So, devil knew. For how long? The first attempt on the life of Jesus I showed you, Matthew 2 verses 16, when Jesus was 2 years old. And in Luke 4 also he made the attempt. Subsequently, after he gave the first sermon, they tried to kill him. They tried to look at him. In verse 28. So those in the synagogue, when they heard these things, were filled with wrath and rose up and thrust him out of the city, and they led him to the brow of the hill on which their city was built, that they might throw him down over the cliff. Then passing through the midst of them, he went his way. This is another attempt. When he gave the first message, the devil tried to kill him in Luke 4. So he continued to make attempt to kill him. That means devil was aware for how many years? From the age of 2 till Jesus was crucified at the age of 33 and off. That was the plan of heaven. That the devil should know he is the Son of God, not 1 year, 2 years, but very long number of years. So that he cannot tell, if I had known you are Son of God, I would not have killed you. He cannot take the defense. You understand, brother? This is the magnanimity. This is our Jesus, the King of Kings. He gave the devil 31 and a half years. 31 and a half years to repent. In that period, if the devil had worshipped Jesus, he would have forgiven. But the devil was not ready. He wanted to kill and he crucified. Crucified. Foolishly he crucified. Was there any sin on Jesus? He brought all sorts of false witnesses. Mark 14, 55 to 59. Mark 14. Now the priest, this is what has happened. He brought all false witnesses. Now the chief priests and all the council sought testimony against Jesus to put him to death, but found none. For many bore false witnesses against him, but their testimonies did not agree. Then someone rose up. Some rose up and bore false witness against him, saying, "We heard him say, I will destroy the temple made with hands, and within 3 days I will build another made without hands." But not even then, their testimony agreed. They had nothing. Jesus was blameless. Jesus was blameless. You understand, sister? He was blameless, and finally they killed him. For what? John 19 verses 7. He says, the Jews answered him, "We have a law. We have a law. And according to our law, he ought to die because he made himself the Son of God." He says, "I am the Son of God." So according to our law, he had to be killed. And they crucified him on this count. They put a board there saying, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, Son of God. This was the caption. John 19:19. Okay. Now Pilate wrote a title and put it on the cross, and the writing was, Jesus of Nazareth, the King of Kings. Because he said, "I am the King of Kings. I am the King of the Jews." He was killed. This was the reason. This was a charge, proven charge, that he said, "I am the King of Kings." For that he was killed, and he is the King of Kings. He is the Son of God. Okay. Now he didn't do any sin. He died. The moment he yielded his spirit, devil's head was crushed. 16:11 in John 16:11, Jesus prophesied in John 16:11 of judgment, because the ruler of this world is judged. How was he judged? He was supposed to worship Jesus. Instead of worshipping, he crucified him, killed him. He became murderer of the whole creator of the universe. His own creator. Jesus created Lucifer. We see it in Ezekiel 28, 13, 14, 15. Jesus created the angel, and he is the creator, and we can see it in the New Testament, Colossians. This is about Jesus. Jesus is the creator of the universe. He is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn over all creation. For by him all things were created that are in heaven and that are on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. All things were created through him and for him. He is the creator. I will deal with it more when the time comes. This is it. He is the creator God. And how did he create? And the New Testament name, Old Testament name of God, I will explain if time comes, if time permits. Jesus is the creator God, and the devil foolishly crucified him and killed him. Now, can anybody kill Jesus? Can anybody kill Jesus? Jesus said, "Nobody can kill me. Nobody can kill me." That's also you should understand. People are asking questions. Why did Jesus die if he is God? Why did Jesus, like, Param sister, why did Jesus? Now Jesus says, "Nobody can kill me." John 10, 17 and 18. He is God. He is God. Men have no powers to kill him. Devil has no power. Devil had no power to kill him. He says in John 10, 17 and 18, he had made it clear, "Therefore my Father loves me, because I laid down my life that I may take it again." Only when he lays down, he can take back. He has to become victorious over death. So he had to die. "No one takes it from me, but I lay it down myself. I have power to lay it down, and I have power to take it again. This command I have received from my Father." So nobody can kill Jesus. He can give his life, he can take it back. He can take it back. And he has said about him, I am in John 5:26. In John 5:26, Jesus says, "Just like my Father who is everlasting, I am also everlasting." John 5:26. For as the Father has life in himself, so he has granted the Son to have life in himself. So Jesus cannot be killed. He is everlasting. So very cleverly what they have done, the heaven has planned, Jesus was sent down just one shade below the angel. That means he should have the power to give up life and make his body dead. Then he can come back. He can rise himself. So that way. Why? The heaven wanted to make the devil a murderer. The heaven wanted to make the devil a murderer. Murderer of whom? The creator of the universe. That's the biggest sin. You agree, brother? That's the biggest sin. And the devil took the earth from God because of a small sin, a disobedience. They ate the fruit. Small sin. And to take back the earth and all the inhabitants, what the heaven planned was that the devil should do the biggest sin in the universe. What is the biggest sin? That can never be surpassed. This sin can never be done. This sin can never be done because Jesus rose and he cannot die. We see it in Romans 6 verses 9. Jesus is not going to die again. It's over. That once he rose, he is knowing that Christ, having been raised from the dead, dies no more. Death no longer has dominion over him. It's over. So no more this sin can be committed. So killing the creator of the universe was the plan of the heaven. That the devil should kill Jesus, knowing fully or not. Was he aware of it or not? Yes, he was aware. He was aware because angels were serving him. Jesus was served by angels and the devil saw that. The devil saw that. When Jesus was sent down to earth, God, in Hebrews 1 verses 6 we see, God commanded all the angels to worship him. But when when he again, this is verse 6 you can see, but when he again brings the firstborn into the world, he says, let all the angels of God worship him. Angels were surrounding Jesus and they were serving him on the earth, when he was on the earth. And we see that in the wilderness, he was served by the angels. And the devil saw everything. And he knew Jesus was his creator. And he knew he had to worship him. Knowing fully well, not 1 year, 2 years, how many years? 31 and a half years. And in the 31 and a half years, he had made multiple attempts to kill him. But his time did not come. The word of God says the time did not come, and so nobody captured him. When the time came, Jesus surrendered. When they said, when he said, I am Jesus, everybody fell back. We can see it in John 18. They answered him, who are you looking? Whom are you seeking? Is asking. Jesus says in verse 5, they answered him, Jesus of Nazareth. Jesus said to them, I am he. And Judas, who betrayed him, also stood with him. When he said to them, I am he, they drew back and fell to the ground. Nobody had the power to touch Jesus with ill intentions because he is God. So powerful. Then he said, okay, come. I am the Jesus of Nazareth. You arrest me. Leave all of them. He surrendered. So they didn't kill him. He yielded his spirit. He surrendered. They didn't capture him. Because in the earlier instances when they tried to capture him, in 3 occasions he vanished. He walked on the water. He never needed a boat to cross over the sea. His disciples used the boat. He didn't need a boat to cross over. He just walked over. He just crossed over. So he is God. He made Peter walk on the water, walk on the ocean. He was walking on the ocean. He is God. So there was no way the human beings can capture him. He surrendered. And then what happened? On the cross, Luke 23 verses 46. He gave his life. Luke 23, 46. When the time came, 6 hours he was hanging on the cross. And then And when Jesus had cried out with a loud voice, he said, Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. Having said this, he breathed his last. As per his word, it is he who gave his spirit, yielded his spirit into the hands of the Father. And on the third day, he arose. On the third day, he arose. You get it, Sister Params? Now, look at this careful plan. When he died on the cross, what happened? Devil became a murderer. Murderer of God. He's God. Murderer of God. And when Jesus rose, within the 3 days he was there buried. All the covenants, all the Old Testament died. Entire Old Testament covenants and rules, regulations died. Exclusivity to Jews, it also died. Now, Jesus was free. When he arose, he said, I am God for the whole human race. Gentiles are my children. And he calls us his children now. And he opened something called grace. Grace. John 1:17 we say grace. That means you commit error, you don't die immediately. You don't die. That's a grace. John 1 verses 17. John 1:17. For the law was given through Moses, but grace and truth came through Jesus Christ. You know what is grace? Something which we don't deserve, we get. This is one part. Other part, something we commit wrong, we don't get punished immediately. Why? Why? He paid for all the sins and iniquities, he paid the price on the cross. So he says, I give you grace. You will wait. He will wait for you and me for years together to come back to him. I'm sorry, Jesus. I'm sorry. The moment you say sorry, your 30 years of sin, you will say, I washed it. I paid the price for your sins on the cross. And the devil is called accuser. We see it in Revelation 12:12. He is called accuser. And in Job also we see the devil goes to the Lord's place, presence, he is accusing. He is accusing. Openly he is accusing. Because you are giving so much of love, so much of grace to him, he is with you. You remove all the grace, he will betray you. He went to the presence of the Lord and accused. He is called accuser. Now, when you and me commit a sin, he cannot go to the presence of the Lord and accuse. Why? Because he killed Jesus. He killed Jesus. Did Jesus commit any sin? No. No. He healed all sorts of people. He raised the dead people. And it was all on record. And devil saw everything. After seeing that, he killed Jesus. That means he is the biggest sinner. And the biggest sinner cannot accuse the smallest sinner. He lost his capability, his capacity to accuse you and me in front of God. He removed that. That is what is called crushing the head. That is what is called crushing the head. Now, Jesus has given him only one leeway. You and I can surrender. John 8:34. The one who commits sin is a slave of sin. You chose not to commit sin. You are boss. You commit sin and then you chose to go to the Lord. Lord, I sinned, please forgive me. You are still boss. He immediately forgives. He immediately forgives because he has paid the price on the cross. So this is it. Now, he has opened the way for heaven. In John 14:6, that is what he's saying. I am the truth. That means whatever I speak, whatever Jesus speaks, has spoken in Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, that is the truth. Absolute truth. I am the truth. I am the way, I am the truth, and I am the life. Jesus is the one who gives eternal life.